I'm Assad Ahmed. This is BBC London. Tonight on the programme, the aunt of Zara Alina, who was murdered on her way home in Ilford 3 years ago, calls for a new law which could make it a duty for bystanders to step in when they see people in danger.
We can actually take charge of the streets, and we can look after one another, and we can eliminate violence against women and girls.
The government's being urged to consider all options. Also on the programme, the historic Smithfield and Billingsgate markets. A new site might finally have been found for them to move to. We'll get reaction from traders. How this cherry tree on a street in southwest London was cut down in error, leaving residents stumped.
And it's feeling and looking very festive up here on the Broadcasting House roof. But this is set to change. It's all getting milder by the end of the weekend. I'll have the full forecast at the end of the programme.
Good evening. Yesterday, a report found urgent action is needed to protect women from sexually motivated crimes in public places. Today, the aunt of Zara Alina, who was sexually assaulted and murdered in Ilford 3 years ago, wants that protection to go even further. Farah Naz believes we need a new law, a type of Good Samaritan law, which compels members of the public to do more to help others who might be in danger. Miss Naz has been speaking to our Home Affairs correspondent, Sonia Jessup.
In the days that followed Zara Alina's murder, and on each anniversary, a silent procession is held to walk her home. A journey she should have been able to complete. Her family say it sends a message that everyone can stand together to keep women safe in London.
It's about saying, I don't stand for this. We don't stand for this. We can actually take charge of the streets, and we can look after one another, and we can eliminate violence against women and girls.
Zara was sexually assaulted and murdered as she walked home in Ilford in 2022. Her killer, a convicted offender who'd been released from jail just days earlier. Yesterday, an inquiry chaired by Lady Ailish Angelini found too many women are still at risk in public spaces. Among its recommendations, calls for the government to consider a Good Samaritan law, an idea proposed by Zara's Aunt Farah, which requires witnesses to act if they see bad behaviour.
It's not a case of people having to tackle the individuals or put themselves in danger, but there's lots that they can do. Particularly they can notify the police, obviously, with mobile phones, and their presence, in fact, can itself be significant.
It's not about encouraging vigilante action. It's about encouraging stepping in safely.
Can you not see me sitting here? What, you can't see me? I'm sat here.
This campaign, urging Londoners to support strangers if they see them being abused, was recently launched by Transport for London. The advice to act like a friend and diffuse the situation.
Hello. We just got up and sat next to her and acted like we were her mates.
The Angelini inquiry praises such schemes but says a joined-up national response is needed. And Farah says a new law would make clear everyone needs to do more.
It works well in other countries. You've got a job as citizens for one another, rather than having this relationship with the state, that the state must do this and constantly being disappointed. We too have a responsibility.
The Angelini inquiry calls on the government and police to do far more, but says the public can play a pivotal role. Zara's family say when it comes to violence against women, no one should look the other way. Sonia Jessup, BBC London.
Well, let's take a look at what's still to come on BBC London in the next few minutes.
There's a London derby here at the Emirates tonight. Can Brentford cause a shock, or will Arsenal take another precious step towards what they hope will be a first Premier League title for 22 years?
The centuries-old Billingsgate and Smithfield fish and meat markets could both move to a new site at the Royal Docks. They've been where they are for hundreds of years, but the City of London Corporation decided they had to leave. And Layla Hayes has been finding out about their new potential home in East London.
Scallops, lovely live scallops today. Beautiful, aren't they?
Two historic markets. Billingsgate trading fish and Smithfield trading meat. Both now having to move, and it's now been revealed where they could be going. It may not look like much right now, but under new plans the markets will be coming here to Albert Island at the Royal Docks in Newham. It's hoped that by bringing the markets here it will allow them to grow and expand and become modern markets for the future. It's also thought the move could create more than 2,000 jobs and generate around £750 million for the local economy. It comes after plans to move the markets to Dagenham were dropped last year, but the Mayor of Newham says she's delighted.
It's really thrilling. It's going to be located on a 25-acre site, part of which you can see, some 750,000 square feet. Absolutely excited. Come on down and have a look. When it's ready, it's going to be a phenomenal addition to this part of London and Newham.
Throughout the years, Smithfield Market has been a London institution and is now the largest wholesale meat market in the UK. But its central location has limits, and some say the move to East London will make things easier.
Fantastic site for us, actually. Much better experience for the clients, much better parking spaces, easier access, and I think a lot easier for the suppliers as well. They're very, very important in this food chain that we're involved in, and getting the lorries in and out of Smithfield is getting increasingly difficult.
But though traders have received compensation to move, some still need convincing.
Sad about the situation, completely sad about it. There's a lot of history here, and I think it's going to be wasted.
I'm not looking forward to it, to be fair. I'll miss this place. I've been here 10 years.
But those behind the plans say Albert Island is a game changer.
At the end of the day, we wanted to guarantee the food security for Londoners, and by keeping it within the M25, we're enabled to actually achieve it. So it's very exciting, very positive, and very good news.
Beautiful langoustine from Scotland.
Both markets will stay open until at least 2028, while the new site will need planning permission and parliamentary approval. But if it goes ahead, these iconic markets will one day close their doors and move to a new home. Layla Hayes, BBC London.
Yeah, a real piece of London history there. Now look at some other news in the headlines today. A man has pleaded guilty to sexually abusing children at a nursery in North London. It's a case the Metropolitan Police has described as one of the most harrowing and complex it has ever undertaken. Vincent Chan filmed the abuse at Bright Horizons in West Hampstead using nursery iPads. The nursery has since closed. National Highways has announced the tunnelling process for the Lower Thames crossing is due to begin in 2028. It's now in the process of sourcing machines capable of digging 60 metres below the Thames, creating the new road link between Essex and Kent. And the King has given permission for City Hall to use the same coat of arms once used by the Greater London Council. You can see what it is. The insignia was first used by the then GLC from 1966 until it was finally dissolved in 1986. Now, finding suitable and affordable childcare is an ongoing issue for many families. Hiring a childminder is an option, but the number of registered childminders is in rapid decline, particularly in London. So to try and plug that gap is a new scheme which allows childminders to operate from schools and community centres. Alpa Patel has been finding out more.
You had another potato? Where? Oh wow, look!
Victoria Cook has been a childminder for over a decade. In recent weeks, she has moved her childminding business from her home to this now closed school in Pimlico.
I love it. I love the chaos. I love the freedom of the children learning. I even love changing the bums, so it's fine. No, I love working as a childminder, yeah.
Oh look, there's one!
The move follows a recent government rule change, allowing childminders to operate from places like schools and community centres for the first time.
We've got so much more opportunity here. We've got a bigger setting, we can do a lot more things. I've got flexibility of taking on more staff and increasing the ratio of children. And it's just given us so much more freedom. It's really nice not to be working at my own home and to be working in the new setting.
Agencies like Tiny have been supporting childminders with that change.
There's a lot of people who really want to be childminders and would make excellent educators. You know, they might have been from an early years background previously, but actually their home that they're in means that they're literally unable to do it.
It's hoped the change will stem the flow of childminders leaving the sector. In 2020, there were 38,000 childminders across the country, according to Ofsted. By 2023, that figure had dropped by 26%. And since last year, there was another drop of 5%, leading to worries that childminders could disappear altogether by 2033. The reasons for the fall include overwhelming paperwork, rising costs and isolation. Future academies are partnering with Victoria and run 11 schools in London and the South East.
I think it needs more kind of central government energy, but it also needs a bit of boldness on behalf of schools and trusts to take a little bit of what might feel like a risk, but actually is a relatively low risk thing to do with what is spare capacity in the system. You know, there are a lot of schools which are now under roll, and it seems to me that this is a really simple way to use that space productively.
For parents here, it's a big thumbs up.
Childminders seem to be quite few and far between these days, but I think we were, you know, we had it in our minds that we wanted to ideally have a childminder just because of that one-to-one approach.
For us, it was about the warmth and the closeness with Victoria and the relationship that's built there, because this doesn't feel, it feels like an extension of our home.
Nursery, a lot of the time at 6 o'clock the door's shut and that's it. With a childminder, you'll become part of the family, and it's nice that the door's always open and parents can always come back and ask for help and ask for advice.
Alpa Patel, BBC London.
Well, now a story of a beloved cherry tree which was cut down by mistake on a residential street in southwest London. Contractors hired by Ealing Council to cut down a tree on Priory Road did exactly what they were asked to do. But it was the wrong Priory Road. Wendy Hurrell has the story.
A pretty tree-lined street near Kew Gardens in Richmond. Outside 23 and 25 Priory Road, a particularly lovely and healthy cherry tree, which in spring looks like this. On Monday, a contractor turned up, inexplicably, to cut it down.
So I asked to see some evidence from the council that you know, there was actually something wrong. And then he showed me on his phone a letter from Ealing Council, at which point I realised that they were in the wrong borough, in the wrong road, cutting down the wrong tree.
It was, for that tree company, a spectacularly bad day at the office.
Well, this is the tree that was always supposed to be felled because it was leaning precariously across the path. Clearly, they've been back to rectify the issue. It is outside number 23 Priory Road, but 10 minutes drive across the River Thames from the other one and in a completely different borough.
Residents were understandably upset to lose a favourite tree.
I really loved this tree because in the winter, like when there were some of the leaves on the ground, I used to use craft with them. And in the summer, we used to wake up and see the tree blossom. And it also meant a lot to my mum, who almost cried yesterday.
Richmond Council said it did not authorise the felling and would be discussing the situation with Ealing Council and the contractor to prevent it happening again. Ealing Council said it is facilitating a replacement tree.
The managing director of Premier Tree Care and Conservation Limited told us they deeply regret felling the wrong tree and that it was human error. They have apologised directly to the residents here, who they understand are very upset. And they found a replacement tree, which, with the guidance of Richmond Council, they hope to plant in the next few days. There's also been some disciplinary action and training within the company. Wendy Hurrell, BBC London, in Kew.
OK, we'll now look at some stories which you may have missed but can see on the BBC News app. First, how the use of facial recognition cameras in vans by Surrey Police has been received after their rollout last week. Then there's why the University of Essex is closing its Southend campus from next summer with a loss of 400 full-time jobs. Finally, you can find out how much someone was willing to pay for an original English Football League Cup, there it is, trophy at auction, which was once won by Luton Town. Well, there's more on those stories and others from your area on the BBC News app. But now on to football, and top of the Premiership Arsenal are preparing to take on 12th place Brentford in a London derby tonight. Arsenal are desperate to take another step towards their first Premier League title in over 20 years. Brentford, well, they have other ideas. Chris Legg sent this report from the Emirates Stadium ahead of the match.
It feels like Arsenal might never get a better chance to end what will be a 22-year wait for a Premier League title come next May. Beat Brentford here tonight, they'll move 5 points clear of Manchester City. Fulham came so close to doing Arsenal a huge favour last night. So close to the win to move to within 2 points of Arsenal. Now, Brentford come here tonight looking for what would be only their second away win in the Premier League this season. They're in 12th place. Let's hear from both managers now, starting with Mikel Arteta, who believes the 7:30 kickoff here could bring real energy from the crowd. He said yesterday, if you're an Arsenal fan who can come along tonight, please get here.
That's an opportunity tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Everybody, 7:30 p.m. kickoff to be at the Emirates, bouncing and putting energy to win the game. That's the opportunity that we have tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Like animals, everybody at the Emirates to go again and beat Brentford. That's the opportunity.
So you see this Brentford game as
vital, massive.
It's pretty obvious it's going to be a difficult task. I think it's also a task that we need to embrace. I think we're in a really good place as a team. Our confidence should be at a place where we're confident of going to a place like that and absolutely competing to win the game, and that's where I want us to be, and that's where I feel we will be.
What a match in prospect here, and Chelsea fans will have one eye on the score updates, I'm sure, because they're not out of the title race yet. They head to Leeds tonight. Leeds are in the relegation zone, so Chelsea very much favourites. They're 6 points behind Arsenal in third place, so they will be hoping also for a favour from their West London neighbours, Brentford. That Chelsea match kicks off at 8:15. This one, as if you need another reminder from Mikel Arteta, at 7:30. And all the highlights are on Match of the Day, 20-11 on BBC One tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match. Chris Legg there. Now, I can exclusively tell you, as it's still minutes before the official announcement is made, that a great young singer from East London has been shortlisted for a Brit Award. It's in the Critics' Choice category. Rose Gray from Walthamstow has been writing and performing since she was a teenager, but in 2025, it all has come together nicely. She popped in earlier for a chat, but first, let's hear from her hit album, Louder Please. This is Wet n Wild. Del, Rag and Bone Man, Dua Lipa. How does it feel?
It feels really good. I'm buzzing. I had no idea that I was even in the running for it. Yeah, it's great.
Now, you are a new face for many people. You know, you're still young, from Muswell Hill, but actually you've been doing this since you were a teenager, writing songs, performing. When did you decide that this is what I want to do in life?
I mean, yeah, it's been a long time coming. I dropped out of college 10 years ago to become a musician. And I did become a musician, but it just wasn't in my stars that I was gonna sort of bring out music then. It took me a long time to sort of figure stuff out. So yeah, I'm like 10 years in of making music. I put out my debut album at the beginning of this year. And I think that's when things started to click. I needed to put out an album for things to start making sense.
And it certainly has been. So 2025 has been an extraordinary year for you. Let me remind you of something you said, that you are manifesting for the success of your album, Louder Please. This year, you've toured South America, Canada, Europe. You're at the O2 on Sunday. Was it all that manifesting, do you think, that made this happen? What was that thing?
I don't
was it just the album?
I do believe, like, we project what we want, and I think if you work hard and have set right intentions, they can happen. But I definitely think it's been because I have been making music for so long, I feel like it just kind of took me understanding who I am as a person and artist for it to start making sense, and it just took me a bit longer.
Bit longer, but you're certainly making up for lost time.
Yes, and
doubt.
And I do believe, like, you manifest, things can happen.
OK,
It's weird.
let me take you forward then to 2026. You will get the results of the Brit Awards early next year. You're touring again in 2026 around the world. What are you manifesting for? What more could happen to you next year that isn't on the cards already?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to be putting out a second album. So, yeah, manifesting hard for... I want to do what I did with my first record, make something that's, like, feels very me and that just makes sense. But I want to tour more. I've got the tour bug. I love touring.
What do you love about it?
It's connecting with fans.
Yeah.
I think I've spent years everything being online, and it's beautiful. And I've there's such a art to being online and posting well and blah blah blah. But actually, like, when you're in front of the crowd and you've got, I don't know, 100 or 3,000 people singing back your song, it's like, it's mega. I love it.
And you do perform live around the world. How does performing in London in clubs here, like you've done on stage, compare to being abroad? Is there a difference? Are crowds the same wherever you go?
I think every city is different. That's something I've learnt from touring this year. You can't. Sometimes certain songs really pop off. Certain other nights it will be a different song. Like, even if I start playing bigger venues, I will always, come back and play tiny little basement clubs. I love it.
It suits your music as well. The style of music is fantastic for clubs. Now, one of the previous winners, Adele, she now lives in Los Angeles.
I know.
Another winner, Dua Lipa, Londoner, has stayed here between here and Kosovo. You, a couple of years' time, you still going to be living in London?
Yes.
Are you?
I love London.
Really?
London is really home. I don't know any different. I do love New York. I'd be lying if I didn't say, that's tempted me before. But I think, I don't think my mum and dad would be very happy if I didn't live in London.
So this is still going to be home for you?
Yeah, I live in East London. I grew up in East London. I was born in Muswell Hill, but I grew up in Walthamstow, and I still live there now. I love it.
Yeah, that was Rose Gray speaking to me earlier, and we wish her the very best of luck at the Brit Awards in February. I did say there, Dua Lipa won a Brit Award previously. She didn't. She was a nominee, so just a correction there. Let's get the weather forecast now from Kate, who's up on the roof. Looking wet there at the moment, Kate.
Yes, Asad, what difference half an hour makes. Half an hour ago, it was dry, it was clear, it was feeling festive, it was chilly. Now, the wind has picked up and the showers have arrived. They haven't been with us all day, but they seem to have just arrived as we came up here. So yes, some showers at the moment. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow night, I know it's a long way off, but I'm hoping this will have all cleared by then, because it is our last supermoon of 2025. We've had a few in a row, actually. It's the cold moon tomorrow, and at the moment it isn't looking like this. We should have some clear skies. Now, half an hour ago I could see the moon almost full tonight, but tomorrow it should be quite spectacular, nice and loud, nice and bright and nice and clear with those clearing skies. Now, if we look at today's weather, it was a misty old start this morning, but it lifted and we had some sunshine. Now, the sunshine's been with us, but you can see through the course day, those showers have been getting ever closer, and here they are in London right now. Now, we still could get a few through this evening and overnight, but it's a precursor to what is coming. Now, the cloud is increasing through tonight. The wind is also strengthening. It should stay largely dry, albeit for these few showers, but the temperature isn't quite as cold cold as last night, 5 to 8 Celsius, the minimum. But as we head into tomorrow morning, you'll notice the front on its way. Now, this front will move through. It's quite heavy. It will last for a while, but it will clear post lunchtime. Really, we should have dry conditions here in London. The clouds should clear as well, and we should actually see some sunshine by the end of tomorrow. Temperatures tomorrow around 10 Celsius. Now, as we head overnight tomorrow, remember that supermoon appears, and all that cloud should have cleared by then. We've got actually clear skies, the wind a lot lighter, so clear visibility of the moon. But the temperature is going to get quite chilly. So if you are going out moon spotting, you're probably likely to need a rather large coat, as -1 is the minimum. We could be getting a bit of a frost first thing. Also some mist and fog patches. They may just linger into Friday morning, but they should eventually lift. Now you can see on Friday across the country, it's clear here in the southeast, but slowly edging towards us is yet another rain ban. It is looking like a rather unsettled end to the week. Temperatures on Friday very similar, just about getting into double figures. Then overnight Friday, that rain continues and into the weekend. Really unsettled conditions. It's not all rain, but there is quite a few outbreaks. We'll get some clearer spells as well, but look at the temperatures. They're getting much milder by the end of the weekend. We're looking at a maximum on Sunday of around 14 or 15 Celsius. Assad.
Yeah, much milder. Thanks very much for that, Kate. Now, before we go, a reminder of some of the day's main news stories. A man who looked after young children at a nursery in North London has admitted sexually abusing some of them. 45-year-old Vincent Chan had been employed as a nursery worker for 7 years in West Hampstead and was caught by chance. Some of the children's parents were in court today as he admitted his crimes. Tens of thousands of people in Kent and Essex have been without water for 5 days now since problems at a water treatment works began on Saturday. South East Water says it's starting to restore supplies to 24,000 homes in Kent and Sussex, but customers must boil their water before drinking it. And the historic Billingsgate and Smithfield markets look set to move to a new site in the Royal Docks near Beckton. Meat and fish traders will remain at their current locations until 2028. Well, that's it for now. I'm back at 10:30 with our late news tonight on BBC One and the iPlayer. On behalf of the BBC London Early Evening News team, wish you a very good evening. Bye-bye.